Yo, I am hoping this works. I didn't test any of this. So we'll have to see. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Uh-oh. Test, test. Check, check. Someone give me some confirmation. I think it looks good on here. We're using hotel Wi-Fi. So maybe we're good. It works. All right. Okay, well, welcome to Japan, specifically Osaka. I've been here for 2 days-ish. I've been in Japan for like a week. Um, Today was a day. I have been walking around, eating and drinking the entire day. So your boy's exhausted, but I figured instead of having a late night out, continuing that, I'll just sit in, turn the camera on, hang out with whoever's freaking awake. Let's see what time it is back in the States. Back in my neck of the woods, it's 5 a.m. So whoever's in here, it's probably super early for you. So yeah, I don't have much planned. I got my laptop. We can hang out, talk about some things going on. I'm VPN'd back into my home lab, so we can talk about that. That's cool. That's fun. I'm glad this is actually working though. I was kind of nervous. But I'm streaming from a decent little setup here. I have my MacBook that I'm streaming from. I have a little light going on here. I'm actually streaming from a Insta360 Go 3S. It's a mouthful. And I have a secondary screen, which is my iPad, using like Sidecar with the MacBook. It's kind of like a jank setup, but it's working pretty well. Wow, okay, let's see. Man, we got way more people in here than I thought. Okay, Jay has been hanging out for a while. What's up, Mr. J? Tim, Daniel, Suburban Barbecue, 5 a.m. here in Houston. Well, that's where I'm from, so it makes sense. 6 a.m. in Colombia. What is up, Alexander? Mike, what is up? Jan, how is Japan? It's great. So far, so good. I'd go into it more, but the thing the world doesn't need is another white person talking about their opinion on Japan and Tokyo after being here for a week. Zenith, what is up? Hey, can you suggest a mini PC for hosting a Minecraft server? Depends on how big of the server, but it's a boring answer. But most modern mini PCs are plenty enough for hosting a Minecraft server. An N100 mini PC with like probably 16 gigs of RAM would be good. You're probably good with that for a small to medium sized Minecraft server. You can probably get one for like $200 on Amazon. Oh, hey, I'm actually in Osaka as well. What the heck? Well, you may have seen me walking around today, drinking and eating a lot. Mike likes the women. Very nice. Peter, 11 a.m. in the UK. All right, lunchtime. What are the ping times from Japan to the States or using Tailscale? I'm using my Open VPN hosted on my UniFi gateway. I'd recommend Tailscale. Actually, some of the video I've done here was talking about my entire setup for traveling and what you would self-host to make it easy to travel as a content creator and make sure all of your data and everything's backed up, all your footage and stuff. So I talked about it in that, but I mentioned in that video that Tailscale is probably the best thing for most people. But man, they make VPN setup so easy now. Hello from the UK, 11 a.m. Yeah, love Japan, jealous. Elliot, yeah. So, like I said, so far so good. I don't have anything to add that you haven't heard from a generic white dude like me before. It's clean, food's good. I can't read any of the signs. I can say basic things that I need to get by. People are very polite. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, what's been going on? What have I missed over the last week in the tech world? Actually, before that, let me get my snacks and treats. Be right back. Okay. Yeah, I've been eating all day, so I'm not like super hungry. I got this because I'll just, oh, I don't even know what this is. Okay. So I got this. I just went to Lawson's across the street and just got some stuff because, again, I'm not super hungry. This is like some kind of peach something, and it's 4%. So if you're wondering, like, Brett, why did you get a 4% like peach drink? And there's a very simple explanation. It's because I'm a bitch, and I love fruity drinks. Less so than I used to. I'm less of a sweet kind of guy, and it's ironic that I say that because a lot of the things I got are like sweets, but it's delicious. Tastes like peach candy. Yummy. I'm about to install a substantial. Oh wait, can I do this? Yeah. Okay. I'm about to install a substantial TP-Link Omada network with several TrueNAS NASs, Proxmox cluster, and a Docker swarm. And you're going for everything. You're hitting all the things. Yeah, all those are great. I like Omada. I love TrueNAS. Proxmox is great. I'm actually building out a new cluster. I kind of teased it on my Twitter. 45 drives, 3 of their HL4s that I'm going to be building a cluster with. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, I just did a video on Docker Swarm. I think it's great for smaller environments. It was much easier to set up and maintain than Kubernetes. I'm not saying Kubernetes doesn't have its place, but in the home lab, if you want something simple, Docker Swarm is pretty great. Peach flavored water here. It's probably healthier and better for me right now than whatever it is I'm drinking. Favorite breakfast food? Do you mean that I've had here in Japan or just in general? Because in general, I don't know, dude. Honestly, I'm not a big breakfast person. I'm really not. But like French toast, I love me a good French toast. Breakfast item here, I couldn't tell you because I feel like there aren't many traditional breakfast foods, right? It's not like in the States where you have your pancakes, your French toast, your waffles, hash browns. I feel like there's not much of that here. But again, white guy who's been in Japan for a week. I could be entirely wrong. Let's see, are you used to the time change? Honestly, yeah, it really didn't take a long time to get used to. I came here from Houston, and there's a direct flight from Houston to Tokyo, and it was 14 hours, which is a lot, and the time change is 15 hours. So it was like going forward 15 hours. It was a lot, but I had a like United Premium Plus seat, which was so much better than economy. The seats were wider, they reclined more, way more comfortable. It made that flight bearable. So it actually wasn't too bad. Let's see. Talking of Kubernetes currently deploying RK2 with Ansible. That is then managed by a Flex CI/CD for my home lab. I really need to invest in some type of CI/CD setup. I keep avoiding it. I keep saying I'm going to do something, and I just don't. Also automated my install of IPA and HashiCorp Vault with Ansible. Ansible, I dipped my toe into it. I've also seen Terraform. There's some big news that like IBM just acquired Terraform's parent company like last week. So that'll be interesting to see how that evolves. But yeah, I've dabbled in Ansible. It's great. The reason I haven't like really dived into either Ansible or Terraform is like I don't I don't need it that much. Like I'm not doing consistent setups or deployments in my lab enough to where I want to invest that much time, which isn't really an excuse because I've done so much shit in my home lab that I don't need or have zero requirements for. But hey, um, that's what happens when you have a YouTube channel and you have to record yourself doing things all the time. Outline VPN, used it anytime? No, I have not. Let's see. Do you do much with Windows Server in 2025? I need to customize the net by user, so I need Active Directory. AD must have its own DNS server, but can be synced with Pi-hole. The only experience I have with Windows Server is that I'm hosting. How about we just look at it? Since I'm VPN, check this out, guys. We can do, let me make sure there's nothing incriminating on this screen. Close out all the hentai. Okay. How do I do this? 1 second. Professional streamer here. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. You can see I have a Windows Server instance actually running in my lab. And the sole purpose of this is to, it's going to be a little slow. We're a bit far away, guys. The sole purpose here is to host an NVMe pool that I use as my main high-speed storage for editing. And the reason it's on Windows Server is because I've been testing / using ROCE or RDMA over converged Ethernet, which is, it works really well with SMB, multipath SMB. It's kind of built into it. And it's just way more seamless if you're hosting it on Windows Server than it is elsewhere. How do I get into? There's really not much to it. I mean, it's on essentially by default. So the only thing I could actually show you in here is my storage pool that I have set up, which is extremely basic. Let's see. I don't even remember. This shows you how little I mess around in here. So I have one storage pool. It's 6 terabytes allocated from 4 2-terabyte NVMe drives in RAID 0. They're striped, I believe. Maybe. I can't remember. Or what they call it in Windows. I honestly don't even know how to look. Volumes, maybe. Maybe here. And then there's a share. I don't know. There you go. I hope that answered your question pretty poorly, I assume. But yeah, in terms of Active Directory and stuff, not much experience there. I did try to set up, I think, Active Directory when I got to the whole having to create your own DNS server on there. I dipped out. I said, nah, sorry, and then gave up. But I would like to get more into it because I actually do use Windows Server a lot at my actual job, my actual 9 to 5. We have a lot of Windows Server deployments, so I should probably get better at it. Do you know, or why do so many home lab YouTubers set up clusters using Kubernetes / Swarm versus Proxmox cluster? Is there an advantage? Is it a flex? They're just different. They're just different. So Proxmox cluster, I think of as more of a high level for hosting like highly available virtual machines, or being able to, you have a virtual machine running whatever, doesn't matter. If you want that to for like routine maintenance or something, and it's easy to just take it down, move it to a different cluster or different server on the cluster, do whatever you need with that cluster or that host, whatever. Kubernetes and Docker Swarm are more at the application level. You have multiple servers, and it's scaling, it's highly available. It's more, God, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, but I see Proxmox as more of a high level for like virtual machines, and Docker Swarm and Kubernetes more for application level and scaling. So do whatever you want with that information. Terrible answer. Thoughts on using public cloud for peer-to-peer VPNs exit nodes. If your public cloud provider allows it and you don't get in trouble for whatever it is you're doing, sure, I don't have a problem with it. As a person who uses solar as well, how much do you worry about power draw? Let's see. Sorry, I got a text. My buddy that I'm traveling with hasn't been feeling good today. That's why I was solo walking around today. Solar. How much do you worry about power draw? Having solar didn't necessarily change how I felt about power draw. I got solar because it's cool, and that minuscule amount I can possibly help the environment and maybe push someone to maybe get solar. I don't have an agenda either way, so that wasn't part of it as well. I just think it's cool mostly. I really don't have a worry about power draw. Power essentially is pretty cheap where I'm at, but I know that's not the case for a lot of people. So I do try to keep that in mind when doing videos and explain what the power draw is. And in some cases do videos where I'm trying to minimize the power draw, which is extremely funny because if you watch the last Home Lab Challenge Showdown with Colton, my setup was a giant 1U or 2U NetApp JBOD, and that was not very efficient at all. But long answer short, I really don't worry about it much, but I fully understand why people do. As an advanced home user, I just refunded my Ubiquiti UDM SE for the new fiber gateway. Is that a good move? I mean, if that's fits your use case, yeah. I mean, they're both great. They're both going to be perfectly adequate for 99% of home users. So yeah, I mean, if that works for use case, I mean, they're both great. Have you tried microSEP in a in a Docker Swarm for HA cluster storage? No, I didn't even know that was a thing. That is actually on my list of videos to get to, because I previously did a video on setting up Docker Swarm, and it was extremely basic, no real highly available storage. Everything was connected to a network share through like an NFS share, which is available to all the nodes in the cluster, but it's not like highly available. There's no, it's not like Ceph or cluster FS or anything, but I did want to look into some type of storage. So maybe I will. I know Proxmox clusters have Ceph built in, which is fantastic as someone who knows nothing about Ceph other than it's highly available and you have to set flags or else you die when you try to upgrade it. Proxmox makes it insanely easy to get your Ceph cluster up and running. If you're in Japan for a month, would you bring a portable router like a GLI net, or is your MacBook VPN setup enough? That's a good question. So, personally, I don't think I would bring a router because the only device I really need connecting back is my MacBook. I don't have a ton of other devices. Like if I were needing my phone to connect back, or if I had multiple devices and another machine, like I have my iPad with me, but I brought it on the plane expecting to have to use it to watch videos, but my plane's Wi-Fi didn't allow for video streaming, so it's basically been a paperweight this whole time. But if I needed a bunch of devices and needed them all, connected through the same network for whatever reason, or connected through a VPN, and didn't want to have to manage that on all devices separately, then yeah, that's what the GLINet devices do really well. And I strongly suggest them to anyone who's looking to do that. I'm actually using one in a video that is coming out soon. I made it and published it or uploaded it before I left for Japan, and it goes live soon-ish. Let me double check when. I'm actually not on my Raid Owl account. Let's change that. Let's see. Here, I'll give you a little sneak peek at the video. Yeah, this video is, I gotta figure out how to easily. This video is going live at some point. March 3rd at 11 p.m. I guess that's that's Japan time. I think that comes out to like Monday morning for my US viewers. But I built out like an entire Plex server that you can take with you. And actually 3D printed a bracket and everything. It's battery powered. You use the GLINet router. It's pretty cool. So I'm using that, and I used one in the Home Lab Challenge as well. I do like the GLINet devices. They're pretty sweet, if I do say so myself. Switch back. Okay, there we go. I'm going to text my buddy back who let me know that he's staying in because he still doesn't feel good. Like, hey, me too. I'm actually streaming right now. I'm actually live streaming right now. Yeah. First of all, you are not my dad. You don't know that. Okay? Let's be honest here. We don't know that 100% as a fact. Okay, so let's table that one. Can you name your 3 favorite most useful Mac apps? Mac specific apps? I don't know that I have any Mac specific apps. I'd say the 3, I don't know that I have any Mac specific ones. I'd say the 3 main apps that I love using on my Mac are Parsec. I love Parsec. I use it all the time. It's fantastic. I don't know how it's still free. DaVinci Resolve, because I'm a freaking loser content creator who has to edit videos. And something a bit more, let's see. Visual Studio Code is a cop-out. It's kind of lame. There's got to be something I'm missing. I'm trying to think of what I use all the time. To use the default, I've been switching. Right now, I'm using iTerm as my Mac terminal, but I'm not a big terminal guy. I've used a couple, and they all kind of do what I need. What's the big one? It's not iTerm. I've been using iTerm. It's fine. Out of, what's this? Out of all the new UniFi devices, you recently did a video on which one would you use in your lab if you had to start over? You want to see what my current UniFi setup looks like at my house? Let's laugh at this. Let's take a little gander here at what. So what I'm about to show you is my home setup, my UniFi home setup, and most of this, and it's like this because I've been sent stuff by Ubiquity, and what am I going to do? Not put it in my lab? So all that stuff is so unnecessary. Let's see. Nothing in here incriminating, right? Right, guys. Let's double check. All right, close out all of these nudes. All of them, sorry. Okay, let's take a look at what we got going on. Oh, Warp. Warp was the one I was trying to think of, the terminal. Okay, let's see. I think my head's in the way. Can I remove myself? All right, let's take that off. All right, good enough, I guess. I don't know if I can move myself over. No, I can't. With that, I'm going to break something if I try. Anyway, okay. Here's all the UniFi devices I have in my lab. So the main gateway I have is the Pro Max as my main gateway. Actually, it's better if we look at it like this, right? Let me double check that this doesn't have my IP on it before I do it. I like the topology, like the hierarchy look thing. It's a lot easier to work with. Okay, this looks good. Switch back. Okay, here's my setup. We have a UDM. I wish I just showed the name, man. Why are you going to be like this? There's my IP. So it's a UDM Pro Max, and then that goes into my main switch, which is a campus aggregation, which is so overkill. It's comical. 10 gig backhaul. I'm eventually going to make this my DHCP server instead of the UDM Pro Max. But look at this thing is obnoxious. Like, I haven't even built it out yet. And you can see all the ports. It's comical. 6 100 gig, 48 25 gig SFP. It's insane. How do I go back without? Okay. Then we have some downstream switches. What's this? An Enterprise XG, or no, Enterprise 8 PoE, a ProMax 16 PoE. That's above my doorway in my studio. A ProMax 24 PoE, an Enterprise XG 24. Some of these are about to be replaced with a different switch, and a USW Pro HD. And then a bunch of downstream access points and like mini switches, whole bunch of stuff. But want to get that out of the way before answering your question, which was, I don't even remember, out of the ones I just reviewed, what would I start my home lab with? Probably the gateway fiber and like a U7 Pro or something. Because of the 10 gig built into the fiber, it'd be easier to have like a downstream 10 gig backhaul connection. Or you could do like a Dream router, a UDR7, and then I guess if you wanted to expand to have a lot of like 10 gig or higher down the line, you could do something like I did and just make a just have a fancier switch downstream from that and make that your DHCP server. I don't know. But honestly, probably the UCG fiber. Let's see. May I ask what software you're using? I do all my streams through StreamYard, StreamYard.com. I think they have a free tier. But yeah, their setup makes it super easy to do everything I'm doing, everything you see on screen. I just click the comments through StreamYard and they pop up. It's really nice. Have you used the client-to-client component on OpenVPN? No, I don't have. So if I'm doing stuff like that, I'd usually just use Tailscale because they make it super easy. And it's pretty intuitive to do client-to-client stuff through Tailscale. OpenVPN, the only extent I've done is like determined which subnets my clients are allowed to get to. And that's kind of the only somewhat client-to-client experience I have with it. I don't know if you're talking about some specific feature they have built in, but no. Do you have a video about some home routers? I'm deciding between a Chinese CWWK or a Protectly Vault. I have no experience with either of those. I've seen people do Protectly stuff, but say it. It's how little experience I have with it. So yeah, no real experience there in terms of routers. I tend to stick to the basics. So I have UniFi stuff. I have Omada stuff. I did a video on ASUS stuff. They were not happy with the video, I don't think, because they ghosted me after I did the video on some of the equipment they sent. I tried to hit them up later and like, hey, I can do a video on some other stuff if you don't want, to show off the networking. They never responded. And I'm just now realizing I have all this food that I was supposed to like start eating and I forgot. So this is probably not hot anymore. Got some Lawson's cheese chicken. I had their regular chicken earlier. It's pretty damn good, if I'm being honest. So man, you add cheese to it. Surely it's got to be better, right? Wait, why is this still? Hello? Oh, okay, we're good. It's weird. Let's see. Wait, why is this? Oh, okay. All right, let's see. What about MikroTik stuff? I actually have a video that I'll be doing on MikroTik specifically. I guess I can just say, so I've done UniFi and Omada like short stack videos, which is essentially what I call a network stack for like entry level and a small footprint. I've coined the term short stack because I'm just so creative like that. And I'm actually doing one on MikroTik stuff soon. All of it's at home. So when I get there, I have to start that video. And then possibly some other stuff with MikroTik that could be super cool. So we'll see. Good. Let's see. Is it any? It tastes like Cheetos. Like the cheese flavor is Cheetos. 100%. They're good. Like 7.3 out of 10. Solid. What NAS do you recommend for data holder with no server rack? Budget 400, excluding storage. This is hard, dude. Because off-the-shelf NASs have gotten so good in the last couple years that it's hard for me to say that you could go wrong with any of them. I'd say if you want the not boring answer, if you're just looking to host storage and you don't want to do anything else on it, Synology is probably the way to go. I think they have the best software in the game. If you are looking to do more and need more horsepower, honestly, Ugreen has a pretty solid setup for the price. They're pretty competitive. So is Asus Store. But man, they're all so good now. It's just like data storage stuff. I know, and the new trend is for your off-the-shelf NAS device to also do everything, like run Docker containers, host virtual machines, be your VPN server, do everything for you. So it depends on what you're trying to use for it. But yeah, just storage. Synology. I'm still a Synology fan. Good morning from Michigan. Someday I'll visit there. It's nice. It's been so far so good. Food's been great. People have been polite. It's clean. It's difficult. This is the first country I've been to where I can't even read the signs at all. Because obviously it's in Japanese. I can't read Japanese. So I have zero clue what a sign says. Is it a nonstop flight to Japan? Yeah. Houston to Tokyo. It was like 14 hours. If your internet, this thing's good. Okay, hold on. Before I answer this, we got more snacks to get into. Okay, let's see. We got this chocolate cream crepe thingy. We have this cream puff with Hokkaido milk. We have, I forgot about this. This chicken and vegetable onigiri thing, rice wrapped in seaweed, and some whatever the shit this is, gabagool, strawberry chocolate things. Let me bust open this before I get into the sweets. Ew. And I'll start answering your question. It's moist. If your internet at your hotel was 1 gig, would you bring less storage and just back up the data overnight? Do you still like having all your data on you? Excellent question. I mentioned earlier in the stream that I'm actually doing a video where I talk about what I do when I travel. So currently, where is it? I can show you exactly what I'm doing. So I have 3 cameras with me. I have my photo camera. I guess you can't see it over here, maybe, for taking pictures. I have my iPhone for pictures and other videos. And I have my camera that I'm using here for videos. I go out, film my stuff like a cringy content creator. And then I come home or back to the hotel and I put everything on this, which is a 4 terabyte SSD. And then once everything's on here, I then back everything up to my Nextcloud instance. So we can take a look at that. Why not? So let me fix this somehow. Can do this? Here's my Nextcloud instance, and I named this Tokyo. I don't know why it's just say Japan. You see, the last time I updated was 4 days ago because the internet at my last place wasn't great. So I think tonight I'm gonna do 3 days worth of content that I need to upload. But in here, let's see, I have all my videos that I've been uploading. And I think we have a good bit of, so this one's 28 gigs. My iPhone's 14 gigs. And I have 10 gigs worth of pictures. So we're looking at like 53 gigs that I've uploaded so far. And I have 4 days that I haven't uploaded yet. So it's a good bit. You could probably get by with, if you have enough storage on your actual devices, to just keep them on there. But this Insta360 has internal storage, so I have to offload it every day. My iPhone, I've been shooting in ProRes, which uses a shit ton of storage. So I have a little like USB-C storage device that I offload the footage onto. And then my camera uses SD cards, and I don't trust those at all. So I definitely want to back those up. But yeah, that's my setup. So to answer your question, yes, maybe, no. I don't remember the exact question, but yeah, that's what I do. And that wouldn't really change depending on the speed, because you can't really get stuff back if your storage fails. Man, y'all come with the UniFi questions, huh? What do you recommend as a UniFi router for home lab? It hard to say. Generic answer right now. I think the best bang for your buck is probably the UDR7. It's solid all around. If you need more out of it and you want built-in like hard drive storage, the Pro Max are good. Hard to say without knowing what your use case is, but if you just need unified network and you're not doing protect at all, the new Express 7 is great and super affordable. If you don't need, no, I'm not going to say that. So the 7 has a lot of improvements over the original Express outside of just Wi-Fi 7. So if you're debating between the Express 7 and the old Express, just for the price difference, I'd say just go with the Express 7. IDS, IPS built in. I think it's 2.3 gigs, which is solid for an entry-level device. Obviously, the Wi-Fi 7, and 2.5 and 10 gig ports. So, I also love your content. Hello from Portugal. Welcome. I don't know how to say hello in Portuguese, so I apologize. Oh yeah, this thing. It's just a lot of rice. I kind of just taste rice and seaweed. It's not good. It's not bad. Slightly on. I would eat this. 6. Probably better if it was microwaved a bit. Nah, pretty good. 6.2. Let's see. Sorry, I know, professional streamer here. Back up to my master tail scale. Tail scale is great. If you're going to pick one kind of VPN to go with, tail scale is awesome. It uses WireGuard as the back end. WireGuard's faster than OpenVPN. And the reason I use OpenVPN is because it's what I've been using for a long time. I'm a creature of habit, and it's been a bit more consistent in terms of reliability than my WireGuard setup. I should probably just bite the bullet and just use Tailscale and everything, but I don't know. I have my OpenVPN profile saved on like Google Drive or something. Anytime I need it, I just pull it down and connect. It's super easy. And this is more of a YouTuber question. Okay. Is it easy to find sponsorships and cooperation with suppliers? Do you have to do this actively, or do they just reach out to you? 95, I'm just pulling a number out of my butthole. 95% of the sponsorships I've ever gotten were from them emailing me to my email address I have listed on my YouTube profile. In the early days, I tried reaching out to a bunch of companies and I never got a response. So I think I started getting contacted around like 5,000 subs. I think I had 5,000 subs and I got an email from TP Link. And that was my actual company. I was like, holy shit, what? Like TP Link, the actual TP Link is emailing me wanting to send me stuff. This is sick. Since then, I've had a bit more luck reaching out to companies, but when you're starting out, it's kind of just do your thing. And I'm not saying don't reach out because you may have better luck than me. You may be better at talking to people over email than I am. I don't know if my emails are very like smooth brain or whatever, but it was just kind of do your own thing until companies find you, I guess. Hi, everyone. Who is here? Is he talking to himself drunk? Dreaming of his dream lab, dreamt what? Yeah, so all these are bots. No one is an actual person. If you think you're an actual person, you're the only one. Everyone else is a bot. So just letting you know that. Hope you don't have an existential crisis there. Hope you have a great time in Japan. I am. So far, so good. It's been fantastic. I do wish I'm traveling with my friend and I've told him like, if I ever do come back, I'd love to come back. But if I do later on down the line, I would make it a point to at least learn a bit more Japanese, because part of traveling is being able to kind of conversate and interact with the people. I think that's one of the things that makes traveling so fun. And I really wish I could talk to some of these people. Like, and I'm not going to talk to them in English. Some people, know a bit of English, but I feel bad. I'm not going to go to someone else's country and expect them to conversate with me in English. Like, yeah, we went to some where were we the other day? Don't tip my tongue. We were in, it's up here. Oh, Kanazawa. I went to some small little place run by an old lady, and I'm guessing her husband. And I really wish I could like talk to him, like just have some type of conversation, but I can't. So I'd really like to make it a point to learn a bit more Japanese next time. What is your opinion on Nextcloud as an all-in-one cloud solution? I just recently integrated image to Nextcloud as a read-only share, but Nextcloud Photos doesn't really meet my expectations. I like Nextcloud Photos simply for the automatic backup from my phone. As an extensive photo storage solution, for my actual photos, I use Lightroom. I love Lightroom. It's my favorite piece of software ever, I think. And I know Adobe's a bunch of assholes and their subscription plan is fucking butt cheeks, but I can't deny that Lightroom is amazing. Opinion on Nextcloud all-in-one as an overall cloud solution. So I've spoken with the Nextcloud folks. I went to Germany a few years ago. They flew me out there to talk to them and experience I think at that time it was like Hub 7 launch. I was recently involved with the Hub 10 briefing last week. I think so for everyone that thinks Nextcloud is just like cloud storage, they have so much more built into Nextcloud, and it's way more popular over in Europe than it is in the States. A lot of like colleges and small to medium sized businesses are using Nextcloud. I think a lot of like larger companies too, because they have a built-in just like software suite. They have built-in like office solutions. They have like built-in video conferencing. Integrated AI to do certain things like taking notes. They have all kinds of stuff built into it. So if you're using it at that level, I think it's great. If you're using it for just cloud storage, it can be good. It can be a little cumbersome and difficult to set up. I know that's a big thing. A lot of people have issues with like wanting to host it on like an NFS share, a Samba share, and having issues with permissions and having to dig into that. I think they've gotten better at it. I mean, I use it personally, so I'm kind of biased, but I think it's great. If you can get it up and running, it's solid. I just think there's a lot to it. And I think a lot of things can get lost in the weeds. So if you are using the all-in-one solution, like the Docker deployment, you download like the image and you spin up the master container, and it spins up like a little web UI when you first start, and you can check which parts of Nextcloud you want. Like if you want their talk, if you want the office, if you want all these different pieces. The first time I did, I checked all. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I want all of them. You can get lost in it. So if you're just using it for storage, just make sure you select only the things you need. But that's just my experience. Is this your breakfast? No, it is like 9 p.m. here. Okay, we got to move on to another item. Hold on. Do we want the cream puff, the chocolate cream crepe, or strawberry gabagool? How about, I want the Hokkaido cream puff. Microwave, no thanks. Is that like, I think it would be good. You're talking about the onigiri? If you had 30 61 terabyte SSDs, would there still be a use case for you to use hard drives? No, absolutely not. Okay, let me pull this one up while I give you guys a review on this. Oh my God, it is so soft. Smells funny. Is this what you want? Is this what you guys came here for? Is it? I should have ate this when it was colder, because now the cream's kind of liquidy and it's grossing me out. It tastes good, but I can't do that texture. The cream got too like melty, and it's giving me like pudding vibes, and I hate pudding. Ugh. It tastes good though. I can't do the texture. Ugh. Yeah, whoops. Okay, question. Do you have any offsite backups for your home lab? If not, if you did, what would your go-to example? Pay for cloud storage or perhaps server setup at a friend? So I do. I use a Synology like 4-bay. I'm actually I'm in talks with Synology to do a video where I upgrade my Synology setup. So I might upgrade the backup system just because, but it works pretty well. It's just a Synology setup at my friend's house. Synology's built in hyper backup, just sends everything back and forth, syncs everything. I think I have it running like once a week or something, but it works great. And that's one of the benefits of using like an off-the-shelf solution over self-hosted like TrueNAS. I know you can sync TrueNAS off-site, obviously, but Synology and other off-the-shelf solutions make it so much easier. But yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Back to chicken. A barbecue sauce with this. This should be fire. I mean, it's good. It's not even warm anymore, and it's probably been sitting for a while before that. But man, there's good chicken. It's like a way better McDonald's chicken nugget. It's got that same breading as a McNugget, but the chicken inside is so much like thicker and juicier. Yeah. What rating I get at? 7 point something. Greetings. Have you considered building a time source for your home lab that doesn't require an... Oh, are you talking about like a... No, I'm not interested in running my own like time server, if that's what you're talking about. I know Jeff Geerling has done a video, it's probably a long time ago at this point, on hosting his own with like a really specific hardware device for an internal time server. But I'm not running like a bunch of internal databases that need to sync to a local time server, so I really haven't looked much into it. Oh, Mr. This is TN, dude. There he is. Probably with a morning Miller Lite. Welcome. Welcome, sir. That texture thing gets me off, and I can't do rice without wanting to... Rice? Rice? Like you don't like the texture of rice? I don't know if I've ever heard that from someone. I love rice. I could eat rice all the time. It's my favorite. No Miller Lite today. I gotta fly. What are food prices like in Japan relative to the USA? I would say they're very similar, but the US dollar is so good right now that using American dollars makes the food cheaper, which is nice. So like this like 5-6 piece chicken thing from Lawson's was 300 yen, I think, which was like, yeah, my receipt. Let's see, I can tell you exactly. Nope, I think I threw it away. Yeah, I think it was like, I have the price on here. I don't know. I think it was around 300 yen, which is like $3 Japanese, but with the exchange rate, that's like just over $2 US. So honestly, the food hasn't been expensive at all. It's been great. I ate a shit ton of food today. And if I would have done what I did in the States where I live, I would have spent a lot of money. So, especially in a big city, which is what I'm in right now. Okay, I'm gonna save this piece, and this crepe thing grosses me out too. Okay, dude, I bet this is gonna gross me out now too. Oh, so soft. Mmm. Got some texture to it. Okay. So there's cream in it, but it's a little more solid, and there's like chocolate chips. So it's pretty good. How much did you spend on hotel? I don't know. My buddy booked it all, and I'm paying him back. at the end. So I honestly don't know. I did stay at a capsule hotel, and I know that was like $100 in Tokyo. That was fun. Super cozy. Yeah, I'd say this is again, texture's kind of getting me. Taste is good. 6.8. 6.8. Official rating. Okay. Last thing. Strawberry chocolate yabool. I assume they're, I really don't know what they are. I mean, a strawberry and chocolate something. That's what they look like. Looks like a big jelly bean. So, okay. The outside shell is like a soft candy coating. And the inside chocolate is like a soft chocolate. I don't know. It's like more airy, but it's not quite like, I don't describe it. Yeah, I'm not a food reviewer. It's fine. It's got kind of that fakey strawberry flavor to it. Do I like it more than this? 6.5. There you go. Official. Have you gone to or planning on seeing sumo wrestling matches? I don't think so. We talked about it, but I don't think it lined up for when we were where we were going to be on certain days. We might look into it again. Maybe it will. But at this point, no. Not currently. Also, like, the air condition in my room, I don't think works. So it's hot as shit, which is annoying because it's like cool outside and I can't open the window. I don't think. Yeah, I wish I could. It's freaking hot in here. Unfortunate. So I may just die tonight. Whatever. Yeah, it's all my food. It was solid dinner. Yeah, I ate so much shit today. I think I started at like 10 a.m. And I just walked around eating and drinking till like 6 o'clock, like nonstop. It was silly. It was awesome though. Hey, finally in my time zone. Yeah, this is a rarity because I'm very far away from my home. So if I'm in your time zone for this one, don't get used to it. So I don't know the next time I'll be streaming from Japan if I'm TBHing. Oof. God damn, it's hot in here. I'm gonna actually like go to the front desk. I ordered 2 4-terabyte Samsung NVMe's from Samsung store and Amazon for my XCPNG system. I got a 4 gigabyte DDR4 memory SODIMM, 1 NVMe package, and nothing in the second. That's sketchy. I mean, luckily you bought it from Amazon, so you can probably just turn around and get your money back, no questions asked. Oh yeah, Amazon is shipping. Yeah, Amazon's like comical. Be like, hey, I bought these shoes, and turns out I'm not really a fan. You're like, all right, send them back. What you want? You want a new pair? You want to keep the money? You want to keep the shoes too? He wants to pay you? Tight. Easy. Done. Kevin, sorry if you covered this already, but are you traveling for fun, for work, or for Raid Owl related reasons? For fun, um, but also for Raid Owl reasons. For what's the term they use? It's called like a write-off. So that's why I'm filming a video and streaming from Japan, because this is now a Raid Owl business trip, right, guys? Right? Shake your head, nod, yes. So, but mainly for fun. Long story short, my buddy and I are traveling because neither of our wives wanted to go to Japan, and we kind of joked around and said, "Oh, why don't we just go then?" And that just turned into, well, now we're in Japan. So, for funsies, for the most part. Man, this thing's solid. I should have drank it faster though, because it's getting warm. And I bet this would be good over ice. I drank so many sours and highballs today. I'm a fiend. Is it normal to get 8 gigabit on speed test from a UDM SE if I'm on a 10 gig plan? Yeah. I mean, depending on how your ISP runs your fiber lines and how they have it set up, that can be totally normal. I pay for a what did I pay for? I pay for a 2 gig plan, and I get like 2.3 up and like 1.5 down most of the time. So yeah, it's that's pretty normal. Wouldn't be worried about that. Yeah, business write-off 100%. Yeah. So except I'm on a small ISP run by enthusiasts. Then you can probably get like direct answers from them. But yeah, if you were paying for 10 and getting 8, personally, I'd be like, cool, because 8 is comical. Like most people don't even need anything over 1. So like 8, I'd be happy with 8. Like I said, I have 2.3 up, and that's plenty. Like my YouTube videos upload in like 30 seconds. It's fantastic. Man, is anyone excited about the those new AMD GPUs that are about to drop? Because I've seen like teaser videos on them. I don't know. I haven't watched much of YouTube since I've been here. I've watched a bit, but I've seen some like teaser content about the new AMD GPUs. Because I know it's funny, like the people that are excited about it are either people looking to get the best like bang for their buck and hoping they undercut NVIDIA for the price to performance at that level. And the other people that are excited are people who hate NVIDIA, which I get it. I mean, I fully understand the people that hate big corporations, and NVIDIA has done some shady stuff, so I totally understand. But yeah, I'm curious to see. I'd really love to see AMD be more competitive with NVIDIA. And I say this as someone who owns a bunch of NVIDIA stock. I also own a good bit of AMD, but not as much as NVIDIA. Because, man, it is boring seeing the continuous gap that NVIDIA is making in the GPU market. 9070 is priced whack, but they will be awesome. I hope so. And then you got the one thing I'm excited about that I've seen a lot of people talk about is the CPU. Let me just segue for a second here. CPU namings have gotten silly. I couldn't even tell you the name of the AMD CPU that I'm excited for because I can't remember. It's like the AI 395HX or some shit. It's the one with the built-in GPU that can run LLMs with the onboard memory. So you could run LLMs on GPU with your like DDR5 RAM, which will be nice. So that's the one that's like it's supposed to be the M4 Mac Mini Killer chip. Yeah, that's it right there. It's the 10-2400 AI 360 no scope RX Super Goober at 10 gigahertz. Yeah, that's it. 100%. Yeah, hopefully that thing is as good as people are saying it is, because man, that would make for a crazy twist to the like mini PC market that Intel kind of seems to have a stranglehold on right now, unless you're in the Apple camp. Because I feel like you're either in the Windows or the Apple camp. Not many people care to admit that they like both. I've gone on record and say I like both. I don't have a problem with either. I love my Apple devices for what they do, and I love my Windows, my Intel's x86 Intel/AMD devices for what they do and what they are. It has to be soldered RAM though. That makes sense. But I thought, you're right, because of the it's in the new framework desktop, right? That everyone's been talking about. I think so. And that doesn't have upgradable RAM, so it is soldered on, huh? But you can get up to like a lot, right? 96 gigs. What do you think about tape library? Are there any plans to make a video about it? I haven't gone that deep in the cold storage archives yet. I don't really have a need for it. I don't have that much storage, but again, I've said it earlier, I've done a lot of things in my home lab, not out of necessity, but because they're cool and because I can. So I'm not ruling it out, but at the current moment, no, I have no plans for it. But who knows, dude? Who knows what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow or the next day? It's an interesting question. Let's see if we can take this one. What's an unexpected challenge you've solved creatively using your home lab that could inspire others? An unexpected challenge you solved. Okay. This one, let me phrase this carefully. So my family is a fan of a certain NFL football team, and where I'm at, we don't get that football team televised regularly. So I pay for NFL Sunday Ticket through YouTube TV. It's a lot of money. So I have that in my house. It's great. But my friends and my dad don't have it. So I self-host my own streaming site that I can. This is totally unrelated to. I was just saying that I pay for NFL Sunday. That has nothing to do with this next part. So let's forget all that. So I host a self-hosted streaming site that I can stream. Just like if I want to do a stream not on Twitch, or if I want to show like some home movies to my family, I can stream those through my own streaming site that's not on YouTube or Twitch or anything. So yeah, that was a cool problem that I solved, totally unrelated to the NFL stuff. Totally not related at all. But yeah, that was cool. Works really well. Yeah, I saw them say that. There won't be a lot of mini PCs and laptops with the new AMD chip because they said it's a pain in the ass to manufacture. But assuming it can set the precedence moving forward that it is a powerful chip and the technology they're using is something that people want, then I assume companies are going to spend the R&D money to build out a product line with it, and I assume the next generation. But um, it might be a home run, just like the Apple's silicon out of the gate. Like the M1 chip was crazy efficient and awesome. So I'm hoping that's what this AMD chip does. Go Lions, dude. I'm not even a Lions fan, but I was rooting for the Lions because, dude, how can you have? I feel like the Lions are just cursed, man. How can you have such an amazing season and then do that in the playoffs, man? I think it was brutal. That the Lions and the Vikings both, dude. It was like, man, y'all both should have been like contending for a Super Bowl this year. Yeah, you self-host a streaming site to stream your Linux ISOs. That's right. I self-host a streaming site so that I can show off my Linux ISOs. Yeah, 100%. Yes, it is Owncast. Owncast is great. Self-hosted streaming site, super easy to set up. Works great. It actually has like a pass-through mode, which is pretty cool. So if you're using like OBS and you're encoding in like H.264, something super popular codec that like H.264, 1080p, something super common. If you're streaming in that, you can pass that through to the client. So there's no like rendering or anything that needs to be done on the server itself. So you don't need like super powerful hardware, and it's not going to take up a lot of resources if a bunch of people are watching your stream, because it's just passing through that transcoded like that codec and everything directly through. You can't. The client has no control over the resolution and bit rate that they're going to get. But if you're doing something common that's easy to stream, then it's great. But you can, if you want to set it up on something beefy, you can set a whole bunch of like presets, like low, medium, high, and custom bit rates and everything. It's really awesome. You can customize the front end website page. They make it really easy to do that. If you're into that, mine's pretty basic, but it's great. I don't think it's very popular either. At least that I know. I don't know anyone who's using it. Dude, don't even get me started on the Snapdragon X Elite. Dude, I wanted to like it so bad. I mean, I did a video on it. You can go back and watch it. I bought the Surface Pro laptop with the X Elite chip in it. Dude, it is such a buggy piece of shit. Like, I wanted to like it so bad. Like, the battery life is solid. It's quiet. Like, for basic tasks, it's fine, but it's just so buggy. Like, go back and watch the video if you want to see my issues with it. I keep trying it every couple of weeks. I keep running the updates, hoping that things run better, but they just don't. Like, certain apps just, like, I can't even describe it. It's like you're using the app on like 500 ping locally. Like, it's crazy. Some apps don't work well at all. I don't know, man. Maybe some other manufacturers have done it better, but that would be crazy considering the Surface is a Microsoft product. So if they can't figure out how to make Windows work on their own device, I don't know. a lot of people got mad at me for saying that in my video, but I don't know what you want me to say. It doesn't work well. Like, I'm not going to pretend to side with $1 trillion company and be like, oh, well, give them a break, guys. They're doing the best they can. It's a new launch. Who knows? Like, you just give them some time, dude. You're not being fair. Like, dude, I'm just a tiny little bald YouTuber. If you think I'm gonna put on like white gloves for Microsoft, you're tripping. They released a shit product, and I said it was a shit product, and it's still a shit product today. If you have one and it works for you, fantastic. That's good. I personally think it's terrible, but maybe version 2 would be better. I don't know. People liked comparing it to Apple's release, but I bought an M1 MacBook like a couple of months after release, and it was surprisingly, what's the word I'm looking for? Not shitty. So it's not an excuse that it's a first generation product, because Apple did it. And again, I'm not going to simp for Apple. They've done some shitty stuff and released some shitty products, but hey, man, I like going with whatever works and works for me. So sometimes it'd be like that. What else is going on? AMD's releasing shit. AI. I have a new AI server set up, but I actually have to work on integrating that into my new Nextcloud instance, because Cloud can hook into an Olama. Like if you're running your own self-hosted Olama instance, you can just hook into that, and that's how Nextcloud uses AI for its like assistant and stuff. And I played with that back when they first released it with like, it must have been like Hub 7, I think. Whenever I went to Germany, that one. And it was not, it did a couple of things, but it was super buggy. It was slow. And I'm hoping they've streamlined it, because it has potential to be cool, because they've hooked it into a bunch of different integrations within Nextcloud. So, in their demonstrations, it's cool, but in practice, I still have to test it out to see if it's working great. Oh, Fabric. Okay. So, me and Tom Lawrence were talking about this. All right, Jay, I appreciate you hanging out so early in the morning, man. Have a good little nap. I can really recommend Fabric GitHub repo by Daniel Mistler. Cool project. Yeah, Tom Lawrence told me about this when we were at the 45 Drive Summit, and I downloaded it and tried it. It's pretty cool. You can get way deep into the customization with Fabric, but you can also, it's pretty easy to set up a very simple instance. I wish I could go more into it, but I really didn't give it enough time to really speak on it. But it is cool. I will say that. I recommend trying it out if you're looking for kind of a AI instance to run locally. Fabric's pretty cool. We were talking about, I remember one of the things we were talking about was that I think like Network Chuck did a video on it. And by the time that he released the video, they had already completely rewritten it in like, I can't remember if it went from like Python to whatever it's written in now or something to Python. They completely changed the backend that it was coded in. And it was just funny to see how long like some big creators like that go between like starting a project and by the time it gets posted on YouTube. Because for me, the average time between me starting a video and posting it to YouTube is probably like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. So it's funny that like I think in that specific instance, it was like 6 to 8 months between like starting the video and posting it, which is crazy to me. It's Go. Yeah, that's right. I think it went from Python to Go. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah, so that's funny. The pros and cons of being a small-ish one-man YouTube channel. There's no red tape and hoops to jump through and walls, silos between like for like a bigger YouTuber that has like an actual team. I would like to get an editor one day at some point, but half of it's like money. You have to pay someone, obviously. And two is that I think editing, or at least in my style, kind of gives it personality, which is kind of something I like to have in my YouTube videos because I'm not the most technical person. So oftentimes I have to rely on my personality, unfortunately, to make YouTube videos entertaining and watchable. So I think if I paid someone to do the editing, it might take away from that. So I don't know, dude. I'm venting. No one really cares about this. So whatever. But yeah, one day we'll see. Be a big old fancy YouTuber, but for now, I still have a 9 to 5 job. So that's not going to happen. What else? What else is going on in the world of tech? Dude, why do I keep getting hair in my mouth? I don't even have any hair. Shit, what is going on? I'll just pull up YouTube and see what people are making videos on. What have y'all been doing? Let's see. What people got going on now? Nextcloud 10. Yep, that's known. Let me switch to my other account. What have I been missing over the past week? So it's funny, like on my personal YouTube account, I really don't follow as many tech channels as I used to. Ever since like making tech videos, I don't know. Maybe I get so burnt out making them that I really don't watch them as much as I used to. Yep, AMD release. I'm not seeing much, dude. It's a slow news week in the tech world. That whole beard and you don't have hair. Well, I guess if the hair is getting in my mouth, it could have come from my mustache, but I don't have like hair here, gravity falling into my mouth. Does that make sense? Do you have highly available storage for Docker Swarm in your home lab? No, not yet. We talked about it a bit at the beginning of the stream. I would like to set up. Someone mentioned like some type of lightweight Ceph or something. And then there's like Gluster FS, which I think is a common one. So I will, at some point, eventually, maybe have highly available storage for my Swarm deployment. Would you say that you have an appropriate work-life balance? I mean, that's kind of a funny question to ask while I'm vacationing in Japan for 2 weeks. But yes, I would. I think that YouTube has taken up a lot, pretty much all of my actual free time. Luckily, my 9 to 5 isn't, it's not like I'm working 40 hours a week and that's it. I'm not doing overtime. I don't have to worry about, I'm on call, but we don't have too many like big issues. So it's not like my actual job is stressful, but I will say that pretty much all of my free time now that I have that isn't dedicated to my family and raising 2 kids is 100% YouTube now. So if you start a YouTube channel and it gets to a moderate size, there's a very high possibility that it will suck all of your free time out of your life. But yeah, let's have a healthy work-life balance. Here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah, man. Since like sophomore year of college, I started early. I peaked. I've already peaked, man. My hair is leaving. What time is it back home? 6:30. Hopefully the kids are still sleeping. I installed Post-Market OS on my phone to run some small services at my dad's house as a backup, but Docker won't work. I'll say rebuild the kernel. Since it's a phone, it's kind of a nightmare. That sounds like an enthusiast level of deployment. Because man, I would just have like a little mini PC with like a Ubuntu server. CNC open source some games. Am I dumb? I don't know what that. I'm struggling. Maybe I'm smooth brain, don't understand. I'm still hoping we get a phone with USB-C that has video output that I can hook up to a dock. I mean, don't most Android phones do that these days? Like, I did a video on the Samsung. I have my Samsung Galaxy S21, use their like, what's it called? Dex, I think. That kind of does that, right? If you lived in a vehicle and decided to run a server on it, let's say a new Mac Mini, what self-hosted apps would you immediately install on it? Docker, 100%. Olama. I'd probably use that as an opportunity for Tailscale. Parsec. For storage, I personally run Nextcloud, so I would probably do a Nextcloud instance. I also like what's it called? Shit. Why can't I think of it? I'm having a brain fart. Like, it's got the most basic name ever. File browser. File browser is pretty good for a super simple, like, network web-based storage solution. And that's on like a Mac. If I was running like Proxmox on like a mini PC, I might do a few things differently, but there's like the basic apps that I would start with. But there's always random shit that I'm trying out and I'm probably missing a few. Oh, Command and Conquer. Okay. That makes more sense. I saved 3 Dell ZX0 thin clients and 1 Dell Optiplex 3010 from the dumpster at work. That'll be the start to my home lab adventure. Nice. Yeah, those thin clients are solid. Low power in terms of like power usage. They're not the most powerful, obviously, but they're really good for clustering and for running some basic services on. Because, I mean, people greatly overestimate how much horsepower they need on their servers, especially when they're starting out. Like Docker, so many Docker containers, so many self-hosted apps require very little hardware to run. When you get into things like game servers and AI and and stuff like that, then yeah, you can step up your horsepower. But for a lot of the basic stuff, you really don't need a lot. Um, which is funny coming from me, who has recently done videos on like stupidly expensive hardware that people seem to not like, but they're fun. I like playing with fancy hardware because I've never gotten the opportunity to do that. Yeah, you could get it. Yeah. Could get a mini PC or Raspberry Pi, but what's the fun in that? So many people, like, I get comments on some of my videos where I do like not the most optimal setup. People are like, why do you do that? Like, because I like it. Like, I think in one video I spun up Proxmox, and the only thing I was running on that was a TrueNAS virtual machine. They're like, why would you do that? It's so dumb. Just run TrueNAS on the bare metal. I'm like, no, I like using Proxmox because in the future, if I want to run more VMs, I like having Proxmox as my host over TrueNAS. So that's what I did. We're like, oh, but you're virtualizing it, you're losing performance. It's like, dude, the amount of performance you lose virtualizing TrueNAS and Proxmox is so minuscule that if you were really noticing it, then you either have some really shit hardware or you have the most ridiculous TrueNAS setup and requirements. So virtualize it all. Docker, Olama, Tailscale, Parsec, all installed on my car rig. Great minds think alike. I want the Mac to keep power usage low, but I do miss the ease of Proxmox. Yeah, I mean, I just did a video. I mean, I don't know if you're referencing that or if you've seen it. I did a video on the Mac Mini and what turning it into a home server, and that's kind of what I was running on it. I think they're great. And you do have less options when it comes to like virtualization on them, obviously. But if you're looking to just use that to host services, the M4 Mac Mini, man, for the price, like, man, it uses like zero power, and the amount you can get out of it is insane. So it's an awesome little machine. Thoughts on the soon to be released Minisform MSA2 AMD and dual 10 gig SFP Plus? It's probably going to be good. I know the A1 MS, is that one? A1? No. What's the one that has like the U.2 slots in it and the dual 10 gig MS? I think it was the A1. It was super popular. There were, from what I remember, thermal issues on it. Maybe that's been cleaned up in the A2, but people seem to be excited about it. I think they're solid machines. I haven't personally used one yet, but I know people like them. I've used other Minisform stuff and it's pretty solid. So yeah, I mean, the mini PC world has blown up in the layers. Like you went from a mini PC being like the cheapest piece of crap, you know, machine just to run Microsoft Office and Chrome to MSO1. That's right. Not A1. A1's something different, I think. What was I saying? Oh yeah, mini PCs. Yeah, they've gone from being just cheap, tiny PCs to run Office to like you can actually get some real world use, and they deserve a spot in your home lab in most cases, based on the increasing capabilities of the processors they're putting in there. They're becoming more power efficient. The IO is getting a lot better. You're seeing Thunderbolt, 2.5 gig, in some cases 10 gig on them. Some are now coming with Oculink connectors, which is cool, but a real world use case for an Oculink port without any power delivery is kind of, I don't know where they're going with that. I know Minisforum makes an Oculink dock. I have one of those, and it's fine. But that kind of the dock thing's cool. A lot of companies are releasing more docks for their mini PCs, but that kind of once you get a mini PC and add a dock to it, you're kind of defeating the purpose of what a mini PC is. At that point, just build an actual like mini tower. I don't know, whatever. MSO1 is Intel. MSA1 only had 2.5. Yeah, I remember. I think the A1 was like the budget version for the most part. I got an 8-core N305 for $150 on AliExpress. Looking forward to testing it out. The large server is way too loud to run in the flat. Yeah, so I think that's a common path a lot of people take in their home lab journey, or from what I've seen, is a lot of people start out with, an old computer, like a mini PC. They run some stuff on it, and then they go and watch a bunch of cringy YouTubers like me and see a bunch of big old servers and say, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to get one. I'm going to upgrade to one of those. And you get one, and all of a sudden you realize it was doing the exact same shit as your tiny little PC. And now you just are doing the same thing, but it's louder, puts out more heat, and consumes more power. And then you go, I think I'm actually going to go back to the tiny PC. Then you do that, and then a couple months later you go, well, that big server's pretty cool. Maybe I'll get one of the, and it's a cycle. What router are you using? I'm using pfSense Community Edition, but I was thinking about moving to OpenSense. Thoughts? I'm a UniFi boy. All my hardware is UniFi right now. I was a pfSense boy before that. I still have no problem with pfSense. I think it's great. You have to pick one, right? I can't run multiple as my main network. You can't run multiple networks. I mean, you can. I run a test pfSense instance and a test Omada instance, but in terms of real usability, it's UniFi. Yeah, their dock is only $100. I remember that. Are they actually selling it again? I feel like the last time I checked, it was out of stock. The Minisforum dock. Looking for a new laptop, thinking about a Framework 13. People love their frameworks. I have a Framework 16. Is it 16 or 15? I don't remember. 16, whatever the newest AMD one is. And honestly, it doesn't get much use. I have my MacBook 16. I have my Microsoft Surface laptop 13 Snapdragon. I have my Dell XPS that's running Mint. And I have that framework. And again, you can only use, you can use all the laptops, but it comes down to it's just more trouble. So the framework doesn't get much use. It's cool, but I think the 16 is just too big. I use the MacBook Pro 16, but I think it's a little bit slimmer, and it's just a better machine, I think, than a framework. But framework's never been the one to be the top spec or the top performer. Obviously, its strength is in its upgradability and customizability. So if you need that and you value that, then yeah, frameworks are solid. UniFi Express 7 mesh. Is it good? Are you asking if the mesh functionality of it is good? Because honestly, I don't use the mesh very much on UniFi products. All my stuff is kind of hardwired. But maybe I'm not the one to answer that. I have a Miniswarm dock for a GPU, but I use it on a mini PC for gaming and or encoding. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what most people are using their docks for a GPU. I guess technically you could throw like 100 gig card in there, but I don't remember what the actual connection is. I remember it's like a physical 16, but I think electronically or electrically, it's a eight lane PCI Gen 3. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. Hey, big fan. I am in Sugamo, Tokyo. Let me buy your drink. Dude, I just came from Tokyo. I'm in Osaka right now. I was in Tokyo 4 days ago. We were in, let me see if I can, Minato? I think that sounds right. Sorry for the white guy pronunciation of these. But yeah, I was in Tokyo like 4 days ago. It was nice. It was crazy for a city that's that big and has like 37 million people, how not overly crowded it felt. I mean, there were places that were pretty freaking packed. Like Shibuya was comical. But yeah, it was crazy. Lots of things to like about being here. That's for sure. Real cool place. Oh yeah, the Framework 12. The Framework 12 is pretty freaking cool. Finally with the touchscreen and everything. Pretty neat little device. I haven't looked at the pricing though. I don't know. Have they said the pricing for the Framework 12? I know it's only got like an i3 or an i5. I can't remember if they mentioned pricing. For all I know, it could be on sale already. So I've been underwhelmed with all the UniFi mesh stuff. I ended up just getting better access points. Do you mean like access points that aren't UniFi or just not specifically the mesh branded ones? Because like technically I guess it wouldn't be mesh, but all UniFi access points can do like a wireless backhaul to another access point, but they can't do a second hop. Like you can go from like a U7 Pro wirelessly to another U7 Pro that has a wired backhaul to your gateway, but you can't, that one that's doing a wireless backhaul can't do a wireless uplink to another one. So they can kind of do a mesh-ish. They're mesh-ish. But the mesh specific ones can do that second hop. Did you catch Jeff Geerling's video the other day about network UPS tool, Nut on a Raspberry Pi? I haven't watched it. I did like the title. Very clever title. I tried setting up Nut a few years ago after Techno Tim did his video on it, and I ran into an issue. I assume it was just with either the Raspberry Pi I was using or whatever SBC I was trying it on. It was giving me issues, and I haven't messed with it since. They actually reached out to me. I think Eaton, right? They're the folks behind Nut. Reached out and were like, "Hey man, yeah, you should definitely let us know if you need any help." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally gonna set it up," and I just haven't. I forgot, or just haven't put in the effort, so I kind of feel bad for that. Yeah, but yeah, good title. Hoping USB 4 Gen 2 will bring the price of peripherals down, cables, docks, hubs, etc. Yeah, man. Standard USB 4, 40 gigs, just over USB. Plenty enough for like PCI level communications. I have been wishing that someone would create, I don't know that this has anything to do with USB, but it reminded me. I want, in the way that I was mentioning, Minisforum has like the mini PC with the Oculink port, and you can use Oculink to the dock. I want something. I don't know if it would be at the hardware level where you'd have to integrate it into the host itself, but I want like a rack mounted solution, piece of hardware that has probably, how many PCIe lanes can you fit in 19-inch wide space? Probably like maybe 8. I don't know, 8, like with 2 slots worth of space, that has some type of like PCI breakout controller, like redriver, that you can connect to the host. And maybe if your host supports like bifurcation, then you can break it out into like multiple PCI slots, where I could have, essentially what I'm getting at is, whether you have a server, a mini PC or something, you can use that PCI, all those PCIe lanes, for a bunch of physical cards in an actual server mounted chassis. I don't think I did the best job of explaining that, but I think it would be cool, because like a lot of times when you're dealing with PCIe cards, there are times where you don't specifically need 8 lanes, 4 lanes, 16 lanes, but you're limited by the physical slots, or you're limited to your motherboard only supports like 8 by 8 on that PCIe slot. So I don't know. I'm ranting. I think it would be cool to have like a 2U system with a shit ton of cards that you could plug in and have like customization over the amount of lanes that each one is allocated to. But I don't know enough about the ground floor of motherboard design and hardware design to make that work. But yeah, USB 4, great. Totally off on a tangent. Hey, I'm a student. I really enjoy home labbing as a hobby, but I would like to develop my skills in this direction and become a professional in the work field. What can you advise what to study? As someone who doesn't do home lab stuff as my real job, I don't think I have a good grasp on what that may be. I could give you my opinion based on what I've seen and heard. So a lot of like sysadmin work, depends on what you're shooting for. If you're looking to be like a sysadmin at like a small company, or if you're looking to get into like big time corporate America, it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, starting at the ground floor, just getting more comfortable with Linux systems and the command line, and certain hypervisors, and understanding what their role is, certain, following protocols for keeping data safe, virtual machines safe, backed up, restoring that, learning how Linux permissions work is a big one. It's hard to pinpoint exactly one thing to break into the field, because there's so many different avenues you can take. If you want to deal with like infrastructure, if you want to deal with cybersecurity, if you want to deal with networking, if you want to get into the corporate world and do more like development type stuff and application support, like there's so many fields of IT. But in terms of home labbing, I don't know, man. They all lead to kind of the same thing from what I've seen. You start with Linux, you learn some hypervisors, you dabble in network storage and security, and you kind of learn from there. But joining communities and talking to others in the field, it's very common for people in the home lab community to have jobs at all different types of levels in the IT field. So just talking to people is huge. Again, not a great answer, but my 9 to 5, I'm an application support and development supervisor. So for a pretty large company, so we're very siloed even within IT. So we have specific teams for infrastructure, for capacity planning, for our Microsoft databases, for Oracle databases, for networking, for security. So everyone's pretty highly specialized, which is why I don't have not really like a jack of all trades, like some like sysadmins at smaller companies kind of have to wear that hat for everything. I fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, don't have to do that. So yeah. Okay, I think so. We're running up on 2 hours here. So 5 minutes left. I'll start winding this down. Surprisingly, a lot of people showed up for the stream, way more than I thought, considering the time that I was doing it at, and it being so early back home where most of my viewers are from. But yeah, this has been a lot more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. And it's still hot in this room. I think once I turn this stupid light off and everything, maybe it'll cool down. I really wish I could open this window. Anyway, pick either AI, cybersecurity, computer science for your study, but constantly challenge yourself in any IT. Things you love becomes easier. Yeah, I won't. I should have mentioned that. That last thing resonates very heavily. So when you start diving into IT, don't just pick a path because someone told you that's the most popular, that can make the most money. I won't say never do that, because obviously some people have different goals in life. And if your goal is to just get a job and make as much money as possible, maybe do that. But if you're looking for longevity and not hating your life, go for something that interests you. And not just because you'll be happier doing it, but because it's very easy to notice the difference in workers that are passionate about their job versus ones that are just doing it just as their job. And I've seen many people who are extremely talented and smart, but really aren't motivated, don't like their job. So they perform way worse than someone who may not be the most technical, may not be the smartest person, but they're very driven and they're very motivated by what they do. So they get things done a lot better. And they're more willing to learn than someone who is just, maybe smarter, but they're not motivated. And motivating as someone who's become a supervisor relatively recently, that's a huge thing, finding out how to motivate people. So if you can find someone who's self-motivated by the work they do, a manager or supervisor will notice that, trust me, and they will applaud you and you will be highly rated for that. But yeah, good morning from Chicago, 7 a.m. here. Yeah, I assume some people are strolling in who are just waking up in the States, but unfortunately I'm winding down because it's p.m. here in Osaka. So it's getting close to my bedtime, and I've been eating and drinking all day. So your boy is tired. Self-motivated employees are gold dust, dude. So when I first started my job, The company I work for, probably 10, 11 years ago, I was extremely highly rated for the probably my first 3 or 4 years, simply because I was in a position where I was extremely motivated by the work I was doing. And I wasn't even like the best at it, but I was so motivated because I enjoyed doing what I was doing that I could get more done, and I was more passionate about it and willing to help and do that work than a lot of other people, which helped me, become very highly rated. And again, not saying that I'm the smartest or best at what I was doing, but I was extremely interested and motivated at it. So again, that just follows back to, if you're looking for a position, if something like sparks your interest when you're doing your rounds in IT, kind of finding like, do I like cybersecurity? Do I like networking? Do I want to be an infrastructure manager? Whatever. If one of those like kind of sparks your interest and you think it's interesting, and other people are saying, oh, don't do that, if you really want to get in, do this. I'll say, as long as you're interested in what you're doing and you can show that interest and some type of competence in it, and get your foot in the door, then that'll take you a long way. Get some restful rewatch. Yeah, man, feel free to rewatch. A lot of good conversation over this last 2 hours. Had a lot of fun. Do you live? No, I don't live in Osaka. I'm here for vacation. Got another week here in Japan. Going, I think, another 2 days here, and then 3 days in Kyoto. And then back to Tokyo for a day or a night. I had to let a computer science PhD go. Very talented, terrible attitude. Yep. And you'll find that a lot. The smartest people aren't always the best employees. And some smart people are really good employees. So it goes, just because you're the smartest person doesn't mean you're going to be the most highly rated employee or the best employee. That's for sure. I've seen it, many different versions of that. Oh man. The what's it called? BIC camera store. Yeah, I visited like a couple of those. They're awesome. I was in there for probably an hour the other day. I don't even know what these words are, Raymond. I'm gonna be honest with you. OS Nexus is QuantaStar 6.5. I don't know what these are. So if that makes me a big old dumb, I apologize. But I got nothing on that. Jason, what up? Welcome to the stream. I'm actually winding down here. So I think that is going to do it. We've been live for like 2 hours. Probably got a shower and hop in bed. But thanks everyone for joining. I was nervous that not many people would be here, considering the weird time that it is. That was a sentence. But yeah, really fun. If you're just joining, I apologize. Feel free to go back and watch the vlog of it. Lots of good conversation, really fun. But that's it. Again, appreciate everyone for joining. Down description should be, I don't even know if I probably didn't put it in there. Maybe I did. Link to the Discord. If it's not down there, look at any of my other videos. If you want to continue the conversation, hop in the Discord. Plenty of people there to nerd out with. But yeah, that's it. Again, hello to everyone who is just joining. Again, I appreciate it. But that's going to do it for me. Like, subscribe, other cringy YouTube outro, and follow me on Twitter for some shit posting about Japan. So awesome. I'll see y'all next time. Maybe I'll do another stream before we head back home. We'll see. But see ya.